Oh no, how awkward. I just started it and I've got a weird hairpiece.
Oh, this is good.
Double trouble. Yes, one person.
Who is it? The Business Corner.
Hi.
What's happening?
Welcome to the LinkedIn versus Instagram best
showdown
live story you will ever see. Hi, Eve. Best live story you will ever see in your entire life. You are literally about to witness history go down.
It's going down. Oh, so you're on the Wi-Fi?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Hi, guys. Hi, Jiv. Hi, Jungle Pod. I just washed my hair, so it feels really clean. So this is Nathaniel, for those that don't know. Now, you've recently changed your name. We're not going Bibby Smalls anymore, but his surname is Bibby. So his Instagram username used to be Bibby Smalls. And believe it or not, we should have got you a crown. This is the king of LinkedIn.
Yes.
So you know how people say that I know some things about Instagram? He knows some things about LinkedIn.
I know a few things about LinkedIn.
You're like, yeah, I think so.
My Instagram handle used to be Bibby Smalls after the notorious B.I.G. So I didn't take it very seriously until a couple of weeks ago we made a decision to change it to Nat Bibby. It was a big decision.
Yeah, because I didn't get it. And I said I don't think people are going to get it. I appreciate the story.
Yeah, no one gets it.
It just didn't really
Yeah.
It wasn't obvious enough. But I appreciate you trying.
Yeah.
Look at all the people that are joining us.
Oh my goodness.
Hi Ursula. Hi Catherine. Hi Anita. Hi Perth Biz Insight. All right. Shall we begin?
Yes.
Let's get this party started. So, firstly, I think it's really important that we tell the people a bit about your story.
Okay, cool.
Because I feel like people know me, but I'm unsure that they know you.
Yep.
And we are doing the national tour together.
Yes. LinkedIn versus Instagram.
LinkedIn versus Instagram. So, tell us how you got onto LinkedIn and why you think LinkedIn is great.
Well, I was in sales and I found that I couldn't get to the decision maker by knocking on doors. And I couldn't get to the decision maker by calling them on the telephone. Do you know who my first target audience was when I'm talking about here? Plastic surgeons.
Okay.
So I was targeting plastic surgeons, couldn't get past this thing called the practice manager. And then I got onto LinkedIn and I found that I contacted 10 surgeons. I'd get 6 responses, 4 meetings, and I made 1 sale. But the interesting thing was, it was a really good sale because it was an ideal target audience. So 10 surgeons the first week. Next week, I contacted 20 surgeons, and it wasn't long before we grew that business from 9 employees to 120. And I became an expert in LinkedIn.
Oh, that's some solid growth. Okay, so why do you love LinkedIn?
I love LinkedIn because it puts money in my pocket.
Okay, well that's the bigger picture.
Yeah.
But for people listening, why should they love LinkedIn?
Well, are they business owners generally?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to grow your business, you want to, you obviously have a target audience. And if you know who that is, you can work out who the key decision maker is if you're in business to business within an organization. Business to business is a very lucrative segment on LinkedIn because you can find out who the decision maker. If it's a director, you can target them. Or if it's a CEO, you can target them. I don't know how easy that is to do on Instagram.
Yeah, it's not as easy to do.
Yeah.
And it is definitely something that I know that I have used. For example, let's say I want to hold an event at a venue. I can find out who the head of their marketing is on LinkedIn so that then I can contact that person directly.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good point. You can find out who the decision maker is.
Yes.
And they're the people that you're going to be able to pitch to.
Yeah, and it become a content platform in the last couple of years. So, when they introduced video, people are actually spending time on there. In the last 12 months, the amount of usage on LinkedIn's tripled. People are spending 3 times as much time on there, which is massive. Yeah.
That's cool. I said to him that I recently moved the LinkedIn icon to one of my first icons. So it's a start.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I just said to you.
Oh, cool.
So, we are going on tour together. So, Perth, we are 27th of November.
We've got a lot of people coming to the Perth one.
We've got a lot of people coming. We're really, really excited. And then we go to Melbourne, and the Melbourne tour is on the 3rd of December.
Yes, that's correct.
And then we go to Sydney, and the Sydney tour is on the 4th of December. So if you don't have a ticket and you want a ticket, what do people do?
Go to bibbyconsultinggroup.com.au/showdown.
Ooh, look, someone's already booked. Yay. If you can't find it, DM me and I will send you the link. So today, the reason that we thought we'd do this live is because we're going to hit 3 really big topics when it comes to both platforms, and basically give you some tips and advice on how you can get more value out of these platforms and really use them to work for your business. Because if you're already using one or you're already using the other, there's just a few tips and things that you can do that are going to help you be able to distribute your content on each platform.
Yeah. So you don't have to like reinvent the wheel just for LinkedIn. You can use a lot of the content you're using on Instagram. It just needs a little bit of a tweak.
Bit of tweaking. And you know, I'm a firm believer in repurposing content, because if you're going to put the time and the energy into creating the content, you may as well get the most exposure for it possible. And LinkedIn seems to be really
People are saying stuff. I am Crystal Laura. Hi from Sydney.
Hi from Sydney.
Woo.
Okay. Very, very briefly, we just want to discuss the algorithm on both platforms.
The algorithm.
Because I think everyone by now is aware that there's an algorithm on Insta. If you're not, you need to get aware. But there is also an algorithm on LinkedIn, which determines who sees your posts or not. But what's the biggest difference between LinkedIn and Instagram algorithm?
Well, I don't know a whole lot about Instagram, but LinkedIn normally follows things like Facebook and Instagram. So I imagine it'd probably be a lot like Instagram was 2 years ago.
Yeah. A bit more basic of an algorithm.
And we don't put so much onto pictures as you guys do.
Oh.
You know, like you're all about the pictures on Instagram.
We are all about the pictures.
Yeah, it's more about like the content. The copy's more important on LinkedIn.
Do you know why as well? Because on Instagram, you've got image first, caption second.
That's right.
LinkedIn is words first, image second.
That's right, yeah. The image is still important though, and lots of people on LinkedIn like literally cut corners when it comes to images. So if your images are good, it helps.
Okay, and that's the same as Instagram.
But it's just not enough, that's all, yeah.
Okay, so the 3 topics that we're going to be talking about in the live is engagement. If your engagement sucks on both platforms, how do you make it suck less?
Yes.
Then we're going to talk about time management on the platforms as well, because that is something that so many people struggle with. How much time should you be spending on the platform? How much time should you be spending creating content as well? And then we're going to talk about the $1 million question. How do you convert engagement on each platform into dollar bills? Because we are all here to make money.
We're here to get rich.
I just hit you and I hit myself. We want you to make money on these platforms.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's my mother-in-law. Hi, Margaret. Thanks for watching. I love it. Hi to Auckland. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. No, I don't want to break into song. So if your engagement sucks.
If nobody gives a shit about your content.
If no one comments on your content, if no one sends you messages on LinkedIn, what could you be doing wrong? Why aren't people commenting?
The biggest thing that I see people do wrong is when they post, they're thinking about what can I say? What is it about me that makes me, what's the, they've got this imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
You know, instead of thinking what is the value that someone's going to get from this message? Because it's not about you. It's about, I think that's the same on every platform, to be honest.
100%. That's exactly the same on Instagram. That's where so many business owners get it wrong. You think about what do I want to share rather than what's my target market going to find useful.
Yes. Or entertaining or...
Entertaining, engaging, inspiring.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So on LinkedIn, do you still want to entertain people?
Entertainment can work well because not many people are doing it. You'll find that most of the content on there is educational or information stuff. But if you do it well, absolutely, entertainment does work. It's pretty. You throw a little bit of humour in your post, it does really well.
I personally believe if you can make people laugh, you can convert them into a customer.
Yeah, I'm the only
You're not
person.
very funny. So
I laugh at my own
that
jokes.
must be hard.
Oh, so you just did laugh at your own joke there. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
And we threw some humour in.
There we go. Happy touring, you go, girl. Aw, thanks, Margaret.
Awesome.
Okay, so on Instagram, it's very similar, guys. If people aren't engaging with your content, it's because it's just not engaging enough.
Yeah.
So when you're very new, and I don't know if LinkedIn is like this as well, but you've got about a 6-month wait on Instagram. And the way that I want you to think about that is, if a random person walked down the street, would you just launch into conversation with them? No, you wouldn't. You maybe would say hello, and then over time, if you had sort of general interests or something to discuss, that relationship will build.
It's about adding value. So I think a really good way to start, if you're not confident that you can deliver value, is to find someone that adds value to what you're doing and bring them to your audience, or share information about them, share their content or their message, and say, I got value out of this, maybe you will too, and see what the response is like. Because as soon as you start to get some traction, you'll find out what works. But it's
That's a good tip.
It's about empathy, you know, like adding value is not just about communicating something that you think is valuable. It's also about having enough empathy to add value in the context of the platform, the way people consume stuff on the content on the platform.
I think that's a good point. So the Instagram equivalent of that would be, who is an industry leader in your field? What sort of information are they sharing? Go to their account, have a look at the information that they're sharing and how you can replicate that on your account with your content.
Yeah. Or literally, like you literally just say, I came across this guy, I thought he was awesome because of this, you know, and share, you know, that way you're adding value to, it's not about you then. It's your you know, you're adding value, and you might think, what's in it for me? But that's the wrong question to be asking.
Totally.
You know.
Totally. It's all about your followers and what they want to see, not what you want to share.
Yeah.
Cool. I feel like we've covered that quite well.
We hit the nail on the head, I think.
I think we hit the nail on the head. Love that. See? Crystal Laura said she loves that.
So supportive.
Thank you.
They're more supportive on Instagram.
Yeah, I feel like Instagram are like woo-woo cheerleaders.
I like the
Everyone's
emojis.
Yay!
Yeah, the claps emoji and
People like to clap. And that's something that I said before that I thought, are you allowed to use emojis on LinkedIn? Or is it a bit like unprofessional?
No, you can use them.
Okay.
Just don't go overdo it. Like, don't
See,
put
on
it.
Instagram, you can overdo it. You can go emoji happy all day, every day, and people will be like, yes.
And don't put them in your headline. Like, you see people putting them in their headline.
Okay.
Like, it's still
That's a
a
good
professional platform. Don't put like rocket launchers in your headline.
Or the gold star.
We're laughing, but there's a couple of people watching, literally, that have them going,
Really?
oh, oops.
Okay. Well, there you go. You got that as a tip. Okay, let's move on to time management hacks. So, if you want to get results on LinkedIn, and when I say results, I mean like leads and make money off the platform and get a return on your investment of your time, how much time per day or per week should you spend creating posts, sharing posts, engaging with other people?
Yeah, well, I mean, the way I look at it is as much time as you need to provide the value. And at the start, that might be you're on there like 6 hours a day. I don't know. How long does it take you to provide the value? I mean, if you can set up systems so that you can provide the value in half an hour, then that's great. But you've always got to make sure you get the outcome.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And Instagram is the same. At the start, you've got to work harder. Let's compare it to like weight loss. So if you want to lose weight and you want to get to that result, you got to work a lot harder than it is to just maintain it once you've lost that weight. So the start, you're always going to have to put in more effort.
Yep.
And I think at the start as well, you're still experimenting with
Yeah.
what gets a reaction and
Yeah.
what gets people to engage. And in order to experiment, you need to use more time to create different styles of posts and see what your audience like.
Exactly. Your audience is the university. It's not like you can go to a course, learn, and tomorrow you're going to start posting. The only way you learn is by trial and error. So not getting started is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah. And people say to me all the time, what's the best time for me to start learning Instagram? And with any social platform, the best time was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So the sooner the better.
I think people are scared as well that you can make some colossal mistake on LinkedIn that will like completely ruin your career forever. So it's pretty hard to make a mistake that large.
Okay, unless you post a nude.
Yeah, like maybe don't do that on LinkedIn. I don't know.
On Instagram, go for it. No, just kidding. Do not do that. Absolutely not.
Okay, yep. Snapchat.
Yeah, that's where you go to Snapchat. Or maybe TikTok.
I don't know.
What the kids are doing on TikTok?
I don't know anything about TikTok.
It's like Tic Tac. I have no idea
It's
either.
not on my radar yet.
Though I have seen that TikTok has really good filters that you can upload your video into TikTok, apply your filter, and then use it on Instagram.
Jesus.
And I'm all for that. You know?
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work.
But good things take time and good things take work.
Yeah, exactly. If it's worth it, for sure.
So I have some tips for Instagram when it comes to time management. Yes, absolutely at the start. The amount of time you put into it at the start is going to result in what you get out of it. Because when I first started my Instagram, because I had no clients or no customers, I was on it all day, every single day, connecting with these people, networking. It's a social network, using it to connect and provide value. And then as my business got more customers, I had to get better at managing my time on the platform. So because the Instagram algorithm loves engagement, what I recommend that you do is twice a day for 10 minutes, set the countdown timer on your phone. So set it to 10 minutes.
Jeez.
Countdown timer goes off, engage.
Yeah.
So like, comment, follow people, do whatever you need to do, engage. When the timer goes off, get off the app and get back to what you're doing. Now that's only 20 minutes a day, but it is enough that'll make a difference.
Yeah.
Random emojis, thanks to my 5-year-old clearly getting value from this live. Oh my God, I love
That's
it.
so good.
Hi, 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good idea for LinkedIn?
Yeah, I think you get to a point when you are like growing your social media that you realize that you only have a finite amount of resources, and if you're getting business from it, you don't want to be like not seeing customers. So I think it's when you say yes to one thing, you've got to say no to another.
Totes.
So it's just working out what your priorities are and being
Totes.
able to say no to things.
As your business grows, the what's it called? Distribution between the things you say yes to and things you say no to starts to go like that.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like that.
But then the things that make you money start to go like that. So
Unless you get this wrong.
unless you get that wrong.
Yeah.
And also you need to be protective of your energy and your time, and your priority of your energy as your business grows has to go to your customers. Ultimately it has to go to your customers.
That's right.
So you've got to find what works for you.
You don't want to say, if you say yes to too much stuff and you do it like everything mediocre, that's a big mistake. If you're going to do something, do it really well, but then just say no to stuff otherwise.
Yeah. Love it. You guys should put this up full on YouTube. Okay, will do.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we should have recorded it that way.
We've got nothing against the tube.
I've got a YouTube channel. It's called How to Socialize. Get on it. What's yours called?
Nathanial Bibby.
Oh.
I think.
Okay, well, you need to get more creative. All right.
Bibby Smalls would be better.
People don't get it. All right. Last question for the live. And this is the $1 million question. How do you convert all this engagement on these platforms to actual sales? So you can go first.
Well, have you heard of the law of reciprocity?
Nah, that word's way too big for me. Tone it down.
Well, you got to add value to people in a way that they want to reciprocate. I think that's one thing. I think also if you define somebody's problem better than they can, they will automatically assume that you have the solution.
That's a good tip. If you can define their problem better than they can, they'll assume you have the solution.
Yeah.
I like that.
The big mistake.
That's good.
The big mistake I think a lot of content creators make is they spend too much time focusing on the solution. If somebody knew what the solution was, they would have fucking solved the problem.
I like that. That's a good point. Yes. Yes? Interesting. So do you think on LinkedIn, like, what's the sales funnel on LinkedIn?
So on Instagram, they say slide into the DMs, right? On LinkedIn, you can
They
don't call it DMs on LinkedIn, but
yeah, what do you call it?
messaging.
Just messaging. Okay.
Well, it's not just messaging, it's messaging.
Just. Okay, yep.
So for the first 4 years, 5 years that I was using LinkedIn, I was generating 100 leads per month and I was not posting any content.
So how did you generate those leads?
So it's all private connection requests and then messages to those
And what's
people.
an example of what you should say in a message? Because it all feels very salesy to me.
Yeah, well it is. And the people that are sending, the ones that seem salesy are not getting the results.
Yeah.
And so it's not about you. And and I have this rule, when you send a message, there must be nothing in the message about you. Nothing.
That's a good tip.
And so it would say something like, hey, I've had a look at your profile. I've noticed that you're in this industry. I'm really interested in finding out more about what you do and your objectives. Could we have a telephone conversation? Pull the conversation offline. Your objective is not to sell something on LinkedIn. It's to start a conversation offline. And you guys know how to sell offline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a really good tip. I like that.
Cool. Thank you.
Sit. You can go now. You're finished.
All right.
No, don't go, because now it's my turn. So, my turn on Instagram. How do you convert Instagram engagement into sales? Do you know what's my latest hot tip that I'm loving?
Yeah.
Stickers in stories.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
Using
There's something else
no,
I
no,
got
no,
to do.
no. Using stickers to sell, because what you can do is, and if anyone watches this live, I swear this is like $1 billion tip. So all you need to do is ask people if they're a customer, buy the sticker. So yes, no, right? It's very simple for people to tap.
Ah.
If they say no, you message them.
Wow.
Would you like more info on my product or service? Some will say yes, some will say no. Do you know how many members I get from doing that?
Wow.
Because you're also creating that personal connection instantly.
There's something about a yes or no question that people just want to answer it.
Totally, it's so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy, but they're invested enough, because especially when it's in your story, these are people that I would consider warmer leads, story viewers, because they're more interested in than just what's on your feed, that they watch your story too, and then they want to know about what else you can offer them.
Yeah. That's a good hot tip. Is that $1 billion tip, is it?
That's $1 billion tip.
Wow, that's a goodness. Is it,
Thank you.
You're not going to run out of value for the event, are you?
Oh, I got plenty more where that came from. Plenty more where that came from. So guys, that wraps up our live. If you got a lot of value from this, you better come to the event.
You better be there.
You better be there, because we've only done 20 minutes and we have delivered a lot of valuable info. So imagine what we could do in an hour.
Yeah, if some of you are watching and you implement some of the tips that we've just shared and come along to the event, you might be able to share your results with everyone.
I love that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, you can tell the people that things actually worked. Was there a Brisbane? No, do you know how many people would be like, why aren't you coming to Brisbane?
We'll sort it out. We'll come next year.
Yeah, we'll come next year.
Berry
Brisbane
Bride.
and Gold Coast.
Bear Bride, yeah.
Next year, guys.
The Gold Coast will be good.
Yeah.
Cairns. Well, we're having everywhere next year.
Adelaide.
Los Angeles.
Oh, whoa. You really threw that in there. All right, thank you to everyone that joined us live. If you're watching the playback, thanks for watching the playback. And do you have any final words for the people?
No, just have fun with it, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, if it's not fun, I think that, you're doing something wrong. I think you should be enjoying yourself. Be authentic. Who you are is absolutely awesome, and we want to see more of you.
Yeah, 100%. I think you nailed it. All right. Bye, everyone.
Peace.
Thank you for your time. Toodles.
Bibby Smalls.